All right. We are going to get started. Thank you everyone for joining us for the Dolphin Tank. My name is Anna Consani. I am Vice President of Community and Partnerships at Springboard Enterprises. I also manage the Dolphin Tank, which we do all across the country and around the world, really with the intention of building community around women entrepreneurs to help them grow and scale. You all are honorary Dolphins here today. We have our Dolphin panel, but you all are Dolphins. So please, we'll be running a tight ship, but please feel free to raise your hand with questions, connections, and because we're a little short on time, I highly suggest reaching out to these founders if there's any sorts of connections or things you can do for them. So a little bit about Springboard. Springboard's been around 22 years running programs for women-led tech and healthcare companies. Just want to shout out a few folks in our audience. We have our CEO, Natalie Buford-Young, and our chairwoman, Kay Koplovitz, here with us. Also, board member Rakia Reynolds on the panel here today. Woo-hoo! We would not be here without FQ. I just want to say thank you so much to Shelley and the whole team for hosting Dolphin Tank. We've done it here now twice and hopefully more in the future. And also we wouldn't be here without Project W, who's helping support this event. And so I just want to introduce Project W to come up and just say a few welcome remarks. So Tremaine.
Thanks, Anna. Good morning. I'm Tremaine Folia. I'm director of Project W's Tech Equity Hub, an accelerator focused on helping Black and Latina tech entrepreneurs find the support they need to be successful in this ecosystem. I just want to share 3 quick facts with you. 1, only 2% of venture capital funds went to women in 2021. That is a slight decline over the past year, but it's a decline. 2, only 3% of Black and Latina founders receive any venture capital. And 3, according to BCG, Boston Consulting Group, for every dollar of VC funding women startups receive, they generate 78 cents, while their male counterparts only generate 31 cents. We are more successful. But you all know that, and that's why you're here this morning. So I just want to say thank you to Female Quotient and Springboard for allowing us this opportunity to host these Dolphin Tanks with you. And we're hoping that this being our first of 4 events this year will increase those numbers, stop that decline, and help women succeed in this space.
Great, so I just want to have our expert Dolphins introduce themselves very briefly before we get started. I'm sure most of you know Shelley, but Shelley, why don't we start with you?
I'm Shelley Zalis, the CEO of the Female Quotient, co-founder of See Her. And I think what we talked about is just so incredibly important. If you could see her, you could be her. And I just want to give a big shout out to, Dolphin Tank and, everyone in Project W and all the, people really talking about this topic because it is about awareness and amplification. We are broadcasting out very wide and to 100 countries actually. And it really does start about sharing the stories, but also spending your money, investing smart. These are smart investments. You all know the output, right? 2%, and in Black women, less than 1%. Not acceptable, right? We know this is a smart investment. So invest your money. And this is women supporting women. So let's put our money where we know it's going to be a great investment. So this is where it starts. And Dolphin Tank knows it best. We are so proud to be your partners in doing the right thing and a good thing for business. So, starts here.
Melanie.
My name is Melanie Broome. I'm a corporate attorney at Davis Wright Tremaine and work with the Project W initiative, and I typically work with female founders and in the tech and food and beverage space.
Amazing. Great. Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris Denson, Director of Innovation at an agency called MullenLowe, and also a multimedia host and author in the innovation and creative space. So happy to be here at the command of Shelley Zalis. And looking forward to hearing the pitches and meeting you all.
Hi, Rakia Reynolds, founder of Skai Blue Media. We're a multimedia, multicultural communications agency. We specialize in the storytelling of people, products, and places, so I'm excited to be here as a board member for Springboard.
Amazing. All right, well, without further ado, let's get started with our presentations. We are starting with, I think we'll go by the agenda, Madison with Clutch. All right, come on up. Great, and come join us on stage. All good. So you have 3 minutes, and then we'll talk for about 10 minutes after.
Fantastic.
When you're ready.
Okay. I'm sure we're all familiar with the broke college student narrative. Well, with Clutch, we're working to end that once and for all. Hi everyone, my name is Madison. I am the CEO and co-founder of Clutch. I, along with my technical co-founder, Melanie, have spent the last year bringing Clutch to life in the Houston market. Clutch is a digital marketplace connecting the next generation of side hustlers to businesses looking for affordable digital marketing services. So let's all think back to when we were in college. If you were trying to make money while there, make some extra cash on the side, you probably had to get either an on-campus job at the library, the dining hall, or if you were lucky, the coffee shop nearby was hiring part-time. But 80% of students say that traditional jobs actually interfere with their ability to study, ability to go to those office hours and be part of those extracurriculars due to the rigidity and lack of flexibility. So with Clutch, we're making it possible for a student that maybe has a knack for graphic design to help a local business make some flyers, grow a startup's TikTok account, and grow their online presence and generate leads, all from the comfort of their dorms. With Clutch, we are a two-sided marketplace that enables this interaction to happen in a very dynamic way that speaks to the next generation of side hustlers. Current digital marketing platforms, digital gig economy marketplace platforms really don't speak to these 18 to 24-year-olds who, matter of fact, 70% of them claim that they already have side hustles and are operating in a way that would align with them. But when you think of Upwork and Fiverr, are they really supporting up-and-coming talented creators? Are they making a social-first, personal brand-oriented platform that these students can use to grow their brand in a way that's authentic to them? And honestly, they're not. And so with Clutch, right now we're hyper-focused on launching at schools. We're expanding outside of Houston currently. But long-term, we really want to be the #1 creator marketplace for the next generations. How we'll do that is by working with these businesses that know the importance of working with Gen Zs. If you're consumer facing and you're not on TikTok, you're missing out on potential thousands to millions of dollars worth of revenue. We hired a TikToker to run our TikTok account, and we're starting to get 40,000 views on our videos. Literally just a 19-year-old who was just trying, and they have an authentic, innate ability to understand their marketing audiences. We've raised $1 million to date to be able to get this pilot off the ground and begin working with businesses. Right now, we launched with the business pilot in January and have done $10,000 in revenue just the top of this quarter. But we're keeping this small right now, working with students on campuses before we expand more holistically. If you know anyone that's looking for digital marketing services or a student looking to make money on their own terms, send them our way to thatsclutch.com. Thank you.
Amazing. Fantastic pitch. I think 2 things that just stood out to me I'll mention briefly. One is the percentage of that age range that already have side hustles. So it's like the market is already there. And the other is that you are focusing small for right now and really honing in on getting to know your market, getting to know your customers before you expand. I think that's a really great kind of start where you are now, especially with 1 million raised. So to the panel, what stood out, what resonated for you? Shelley?
First of all, I'm obsessed with this idea because we are looking for this generation to create, first of all, the idea of side hustle is the big idea. And we know that in the marketplace today, with the Great Resignation, so many women are leaving their jobs and side hustles becoming their main hustle. So I think getting the digital Gen Z as the side hustle, where we all need social media part-timers and the Fiverr concept. So I love your comparison of the Fiverr to Gen Z. And I worked in a cafe when I was in college, so I could relate to your examples completely. So I'm sitting here thinking, as a 60-year-old, back to what you're talking about, using that digital marketplace. I'm thinking, I'm going to sign you up immediately. And right now, someone gave me a platform that I want to show you that I think will be perfect for all of your digital citizens to tap into, that is a Fiverr alternative for you. So I'd love to know more about the platform that you built. And I also love that you have a niche, which is the college marketplace. So you could go college to college to college and sign people up. So it's a turnkey opportunity. So I already see your business model, and I think it's brilliant. So I love where you're going.
Do you want to respond just a little bit about the platform?
Yeah.
So Smell, my technical co-founder, built out this platform. It's two-sided. If you're a business, right now you can go onto our mobile app. It will be a website initially, but right now you can go onto the mobile app, filter based on the preferences of what you're looking for in a student. They have a really dynamic profile that really shows a little bit about their experiences, ratings, reviews, of course, their prices, what they can do. And then we have vetted all these students in advance of them getting on there, the ad. And then you can book them directly, chat with them, etc. The students have a way to manage their hours, manage their bank accounts, manage their price points, and everything else, as well as their services, through our web app that connects directly to the mobile app. So that's why it's two-sided.
So is it the Fiverr model, or is it a subscription model for the business?
Yes, so it's a Fiverr model. So we take a percent of all the transactions on the platform. It's automatically built in, but yes, we take 25 to 30% from the business, not from the student. We don't take any money out of their pocket.
So free for student to,
Great. Melanie?
I think it's a great model. I think that it's a great idea. Yeah, side hustles are phenomenal, and if somebody had told me that I only had to work a couple hours, doing TikTok when I was in college, it would have been great. Can't do it now, but like as a 19-year-old. And so, but coming from, I guess, more of a legal perspective, just wondering how you answer the question about, are these students, are they your employees, and like how you're getting around that if it's sort of like a, an independent contractor Uber model, right, for the workers, and how that's going to work as you, sort of expand out of Houston.
Absolutely. So it is independent contractor 1099. We have been working diligently on the compliance to make sure that they have the right tax documents and we're remaining compliant. What's nice about it being remote work versus an Uber model where you're interacting with someone in person and there's defined times and different things that we're relying on employee versus contractor, we can negate given the fact that it's remote friendly. Students are inherently working on their own hours and businesses recognize that. If a business starts saying, oh, you need to do this, we need to come into the office, a student can simply say, no, I don't. I'll just go work with another business on lunch. Because that's obviously not the expectation that we have set up, similar to Fiverr or, yeah.
And then are you looking to raise money now? You said you raised $1 million, which is great.
Yes, we will be raising again a $3 to $5 million seed round later this year. We definitely want to get this pilot to a place that we can then launch it publicly before raising that seed so that we can show, product market fit, and then use the seed capital to get to our first level of scale.
Great. Chris, things that stood out or things you would have liked to hear more about?
Well, first of all, thank you for not saying NFT or metaverse. So you win in my book. That's already it. No, anything, like, I love your pitch. I think you nailed it. Like, it was very communicative. It was very comfortable. You hit all the points you needed to hit. I think about just the idea of customer service to those students.
Totally.
The businesses is one thing, but the students themselves, whether it's some form of coaching, like what do they want to do with their career, or just the taxes and compliances and all those things, like money management. Think about how do you take care of those students as well as possible so that they become stickier and then they pass the baton on to the next, the classmen behind them. But other than that, I mean, I agree with what everybody else said. It's like it's a brilliant idea, and I think it's much needed, and it creates like a mutual opportunity. I really resonated with the cultural relevancy. You know, the idea of like, hey, I'm a coffee shop. I don't know how to do TikTok, and then it works. So yeah, that was my initial like feedback, and things pop up for me.
And I'll just quickly say we have a whole educational component that we're integrating. We want it to be cool. That's why we're like, oh, That's Clutch, like we're so cool. But we're gonna sneakily also be like a digital resume for these kids. We're gonna help them understand taxes. We're gonna help them understand what it's like to set your prices and be competitive and get different certificates to actually stand out. And that's definitely later stage, but that's something we've already been able to help a lot of students with, you know. We have a biomedical engineering student who has like 6 million likes on her personal TikTok. We connected her with a business, and she's like, this is so good for my professional career. I want to be a social media manager anyway and not even go do biomedical engineering. And we're like, perfect. Do it all the time.
Too far. You took her out of biomedical.
Right. Her parents are probably like, what? Cut the cameras.
I think that's a really great point too, that you're helping them set their prices and be competitive, because like even on TikTok, right, there's tons of videos about how to do this, how to set your prices, how to pitch brands, and you know, some of it is probably great information and some of it may not be, some of it be, you know, not relevant to that person. So you're kind of being that middleman that helps stabilize that whole economy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Rakia.
So, okay, I loved everything about this pitch. One, you know, I always look for in pitches just the story selling of it. So there's storytelling and story selling, and I think you did a little bit of both. You told a great story, which contains statistics, and gave us a solid selling on the call to action at the end. And I am going to talk a little bit about the digital NFT metaverse side of it. I think as a lot of the world, or a portion of the world, gets into the space of Web3 and the decentralization of all of this, you have an opportunity. So from a visionary standpoint, I'm always thinking, what's the vision? Like, I hear all of the mission, but I think there's a huge opportunity for vision as the world moves closer and closer to the decentralization, autonomous ways of Web3. So I loved it. Kudos to you.
Considered it.
All right, snaps and claps. See?
Maybe it's because of all the transactions happening that maybe there's a wallet play. Maybe there's a ton of Gen Zs who are NFT creators. What does it look like for them to have the opportunity to do that through Clutch? But roadmap-wise, that's definitely something longer term, because I think we, you know, humbly don't know enough about it. I don't think anyone knows enough about it personally. So we definitely want to learn more before adding that to our pitch, so we can be more informed.
And not throw people off like Chris, who would just say, I'm not gonna listen anymore. All right, well, we have about a minute left. Any questions from the audience or connections you guys want to throw out there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing. Follow-up conversations. Fantastic. Can you restate your ask and how everyone in the room can help support you?
Yes, if you are running a startup, small business, or know someone who is, go to thatsclutch.com and fill out the inquiry so that we can get you in touch with students who can help you with graphic design, video editing, TikTok creation, of course, and all those other kind of creative digital marketing services. And if you have someone in your life, family member who maybe is in college, would also love them to go and fill out an application to join the 3,000 students we have in our pipeline to be side hustlers.
Do we have a quick question? Yeah.
Right, so it's college students for now. This is just because we're in pilot phase. We are not kicking anyone off the platform when they graduate, but also we will be opening it up to everyone broadly. We just want to make sure our signaling is, hey, this is for those people who've been really underestimated on other gig platforms, so Gen Zs.
That's great. Great, thank you.
Well, I have one more thing. Madison, after Dolphin Tank, see us after. I want to show you a platform that might jumpstart you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. All right. And next up, we have Natasia with Popcom. There we go. All right.
Hi. Hi, I'm Natasia Malaihollo. I'm the Vice President of Business Development for Popcom, where I run a program called Pop Shop Local. Pop Shop Local converts unused space in high traffic areas such as hotels, airports, and malls into a robotic gift shop that sells products made by local entrepreneurs. Even though we are a fun, fast, cheap, easier, and all around just better way for small businesses to get into this high traffic venues, our secret sauce is actually our software. Our software can collect really insightful data like age, gender, shopping behavior, preferences, engagement, all of the types of analytics that you would normally typically only see from online e-commerce platforms. Today, PopShop Local is in 7 locations, including the iconic New York Hilton, the Beverly Center in Los Angeles, the Metreon in San Francisco, and we'll be launching our first airport machine in Columbus and our first college campus machine at Howard University in a couple of weeks. By the end of April, we'll have 15 machines in the field and 50 by the end of the year. Our goal is really to be as prominent and as recognizable as the Redbox machine. So to do that, we are looking for partners, venue partners, of course, more introductions to small businesses. We have raised $7 million in our seed round, and we are now actively raising a Series A where we already have a committed lead. So if you are looking to partner with a business that's helping local entrepreneurs get into high traffic venues, I definitely would love to talk to you afterwards.
Yeah. And yeah, so the panel, there's a little picture up here of what the Pop Shop looks like. So really nice. Awesome. Fantastic. So can you talk a little bit about the plan for scale? So obviously it's a little bit dictated by however many shop or like actual pop-up things you have, but in terms of the products itself, like what's the price range? How many can you store?
Yeah, so we charge the brands $1,000 per month to be in the machine, and we take care of everything. That means the leases and all of that. So essentially, they're just putting their products in the machine. And I think what's really helped us is because people are now starting, well, because of COVID, number one, but also the farmer's fridge model. Like everyone's seeing these to-go salads everywhere, and they're like, wait a minute, I need a vending machine for my products. Like, how do I get a vending machine for my business? But small businesses are not in the business of running vending machine businesses. So essentially, you can come to us. We have, our goal is to have over 500,000 of locations, and you just select a location that you want to be in. And because our software collects so much data, we're actually able to say, hey, this, for example, the Beverly Center, a lot of people don't know this, but 83% of that traffic is mostly male. And so it's like, for a business that's selling female products, like maybe this is not the best location for you because most of the people passing by this venue are actually male. So we're able to collect all of this type of data. We think that we're really, our kind of big goal vision is that we're merging e-commerce with the physical store and making it just, instead of an e-commerce brand going and getting their own brick and mortar store, they're going to go into a bunch of different pop shop locals around the country.
Amazing. And then I'm going to hijack this for one more question. Your team, your yes. experience, since I know you from your previous company.
Yeah, so Dawn Dixon is our CEO, and she just really wisely built an entire team. So there's about 20 of us now. Every single person on that 20-person team is a former founder, including myself. So I used to run a market research company called Wiser, but every single person on the team is an entrepreneur, and so everyone's very efficient, very productive, and with our very small team, we've been able to scale pretty well, and it just shows kind of with the locations that we have. So we have a pilot with the Hilton, we have a pilot with the Marriott, we have a pilot with a lot of different organizations, and we're actually working on getting into every HBCU as like kind of an angle.
Amazing, love that. And Natasia pitched her previous company, Wiser, in a Dolphin tank, so very full circle, and I love that. Shelley.
Okay, so I love Pop Shop. I think that's amazing. Just Popcom. I love Pop. I think that's amazing. Pop anything is brilliant. And so the fact that you got Popcom already is a gold mine, period. I love that you're from market research. Hello. I think you need to expand your criteria, though, for search and go beyond demographic profiling. So I think you need to expand that now before you go further, because we're not profiling by demos anymore. So I think you're limiting yourself, and you need to expand for behavior graphics.
Yes.
because I think your limitation, even for male, is going to limit you. So I think you should expand your profiling.
Yes, so we are so the machines actually have 2 cameras on them. So we are, they run ads all day. So we're able to see how long someone's looking at an ad and what ad actually attracts them to the machine. So we're able to tell the brands, hey, this ad actually brought the person, converted the person to come to the machine. So we are capturing a little, but I'd love to hear just like what other behavior data you think would be helpful.
Right, because lifestyle is going to be a whole different dynamic today. So I think you should be thinking that strategy. And I also think you should open your mind, because there's so much more real estate available today, post-pandemic, in terms of all this available space. So think about the expansion plans as you're, opening your perspective. But I love this concept. And I think the idea of, the whole IRL, IVL opportunities for entrepreneurial businesses is a phenomenal idea. Love it.
Why don't we jump over to Rakia?
Yes. Okay, so I love the pitch. I did not know this was Dawn Dixon's company, so that's even more amazing. I think there are a few things that stuck out to me. One is that you are working with small businesses to give them the data that they sometimes don't have access to, and also the market research that can help to grow their businesses. And it's also, from the pitch, it feels like something that they can test products out with, so that they can be iterative in their businesses. So I think that's, again, from a visionary standpoint, some great potential. I think the college and university model should be talked up a little more, because colleges and universities, we're seeing more of the behavior, as Shelley talked about, as Gen Z and Gen Alpha becomes more committed to homegrown, independent, entrepreneurial endeavors. So I would look at the behaviors of the colleges and universities as another way to predict how you scale in the future, because those are the influencers, the Gen Zs, the ones that are paying more attention to, hey, I love this product, and I spent time actually looking at this because it hit a core human interest perspective. So that would be the only sort of piece that I would add in there, but I love the model, and I love how you all are building it out.
Can I add one more piece? Sampling. You should put a sampling component if you don't have that in there.
Oh, yeah, so there isn't an actual sampling component right now, but I know the brands can give codes so people can actually pull out a product without paying for something. So like because we mostly target e-commerce brands that are already doing well online. They've been toying with the idea of having a brick and mortar, but nobody wants to have a brick and mortar. I mean, the model for brick and mortar right now is changing anyways, and no one wants to make that commitment. And so now with Pop Shop Local, they can test out a location before they invest in a bigger footprint. And with that, because they're really successful e-commerce brands already, for some of them, they're using the machine as, hey, go pick up the product. You order online, but since you're in DC where there's a machine, you can go pick it up.
I was going to say, do you guys have one in DC?
Our first one will be at Howard.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
I feel like there's obviously ton,
Yes.
like that is a great market for this. So great, a lot of businesses. Chris.
First of all, I love this idea. Literally, I've been pitching something similar for years to like different brands. Like, you should do this, especially when it comes to like travel and unique gifting. Like, that's just one of the things that always stands out to me. I don't want to get you something at the airport that I Love Hawaii hat, right? Like, I want to get you something unique, especially empowering local artisans. And when I think about scale, I also think about like indigenous areas. You start to go to certain places that are, travel friendly, but also you've got a lot of makers there that you can start to build and empower communities around the world. Like, I think that's impressive. I love the fact that there's a screen that can be multimedia, multi-purpose. I'm a big fan of a company called Network, no vowels. But just even using the screen as a way to explain what the product is. And can you gift and send? Can you send from the machines?
Yes. So we are working on that because actually at Howard, the first launch, one of our brands actually said, we make products that students might want to send to their mothers for Mother's Day while they're still on campus. So you could do all that. I think, Shelley, you'll also like this. So while the product takes about 60 seconds to dispense, so while they're waiting for the robot to pick up the product and drop it, you can actually take a survey right on the screen and answer a few questions. So all of that is part of your actual sales data.
That's an FG.
Yes.
It has ask me what that is later.
Fucking great.
It's fucking genius.
Oh, all right. I knew it was something, yeah. I knew it had fucking in it. That's what, pardon my language.
Sorry. He said it, I didn't.
You said it, anyway.
I didn't say it.
Teacher. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. That's my initial feedback. I literally, I got goosebumps from the idea, and I know that's when I feel like something is great. I feel it. So, congratulations. Just keep going.
Thank you.
And Melanie.
It's difficult to find something that people haven't already said, because yeah, it's a phenomenal idea, and love the local entrepreneurs that you're highlighting. I have a lot of questions, so I'm not going to bogart the mic too much, but just a couple, in terms of, I love the fact that you highlighted that there's additional ways to make revenue other than the $1,000 that the brands are paying, there's ad space and things like that. But just asking, sort of from the hotel perspective or the college perspective, why, why would they want to partner with you? Sort of what do they get out of it?
Yeah, I love that you asked that. So for the hotels, because a lot of hotels actually have had to close down their gift shops, and even newer hotels, they don't have space for gift shops. So they consider Pop Shop Local and we actually got the idea for Pop Shop Local from talking to hotel venues, initially for some of our brands that were looking to buy a machine, and they were like, oh my gosh, this is perfect for my hotel. We want to give guests a sense of place. This is a utility for them, an extra amenity for them. And so that's actually what started me doing I'm a market researcher too. So started doing market research on whether or not this was viable for hotels. But for the businesses, so actually the business schools help run the machines. So they reach out to alumni, they reach out to students, and then the business school and their dean or their professors are actually using the data for their own case studies, for their own studies. So it becomes, and that's why a lot of the schools now want to partner with us, because it's a real case, use case, business case, and the brands in the machines are all either Howard alumni or connected to Howard in some way, and so it becomes a very community thing. So thank you for asking.
And I would also think about pop-ups at other, a South by Southwest or a Comic-Con or VidCon, where you've got these influencers who might also have products, and they're going to be there for 2 weeks. Why not, take advantage of that fandom in some ways? Movie premieres, there's so many different ways you can roll it out in short-term space.
Yep, absolutely. We would love
That's
to.
great. So can you restate your ask and how we can all support?
Yes, so we are looking for venue partners. We're also looking for introductions to enterprises that may want to sponsor some of our brands, being the machine. So it is a required $2,000 per month. We typically have 2 to 3 brands per machine, and that covers all of the fulfillment. $2,000 or $1,000 a month for a small business is still a lot of money, and so if an enterprise wants to sponsor a machine, that could take away that price for this small business.
As a judge, am I allowed? As a panelist? Okay, good. Okay, good. So as a panelist, am I allowed to offer us as a venue?
Yes, of course.
So you can put that in all of our lounges.
Oh, awesome. How exciting. Thank you. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you. Awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I'm thinking of just some other gifting startups that I think would just be interesting to talk to and maybe partner with too. So.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
Amazing.
appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. Questions from the audience, Natalie.
We're in a Marriott property in Columbus and a Hilton in New York City. Yep.
Well, I'm Natalie from Springboard. I'd love to talk to you about that.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah. Katie, do you want to add?
I'm just wondering, what is the cost of the actual machine that you put in, and what is the payback?
Yes, so the cost of the machine is anywhere between, we have a smaller machine, the Pop Box, which will be carrying local food and beverage entrepreneurs that will launch next month. That machine is about $7,000, and then the Pop Shops themselves are $20,000 a month. So we typically, right now, our business model, we break even at 5 months.
That's pretty quick. Yeah. Amazing. All right. Thank you. So, oh, wait, one more question.
Just because it seems like there's some tech in there. In terms of servicing the machines, how's that managed? Do you have folks from your company that are doing that, or local technicians?
Yes,
Good
so
question.
most of our team are actually engineers, and so they just remote into the machine. So everything runs in the cloud on the machine. Even the robot inside the machine is controlled by our software, and so we're able to remote it. But we work with a national company that typically services the Coke machines, the chip machines, and they also they do the technical. So we log into a Google Hangout, and we just walk them through how to service it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Great. All right. Thank you so much.
We have thousands of female founders.
Oh, awesome. I'm so excited. Thank you.
All right, and last but certainly not least, we have Alana with Netavox. Come on up. Thank you all. Again, if any, if you're thinking about connections, people to intro to these founders, just send them a quick email. The emails are all on these sheets. We have them around, and also it's up on the screen. So please think about your connections. And I'll pass it to Alana.
Thank you. My name is Alana Libertad Cortés, and I am the CEO of Netavox, the first full-service conversational AI agency in Mexico City. So imagine a world where white tech bros profit off Mexico. They build AI in English and then use Google Translate to take it from English to Spanish and recolonize Mexico and Latin America. They take money, jobs, and innovation from women and Mexicans. This isn't just a scenario, it's happening right now. So Netavox is revolutionizing AI in Latin America and Mexico. We hire women, talented women and Mexicans from day one. We build in native Spanish, and we keep the money and innovation in Mexico. So conversational AI, what is it? You've heard of Siri, Alexa. Conversational AI was a $10 billion business in 2020, and it's projected to grow to $30 billion by 2026. So it can increase user experience and transform companies. Netavox has years experience building conversational AI. We have 30 years experience. We're the people who build the backends for Boeing, Virgin, Verizon, and many others. We also build and sell. So on our team, we also have people who have relationships with some of the biggest companies in Mexico who have sold contracts for millions of dollars, and they are on our team. Netavox is determined to keep the money and the technology in Mexico. We are B2B conversational AI products are data-driven. We push from 20 to 80% automation across companies, and that's a ROI of thousands to millions of dollars per month. That's a lot of Teslas. So what we're looking for is being able to build in Mexico and keep the money and do it in native Spanish. So what do the next 6 months look like? Well, right now we have a long list of enterprise companies that would like to meet with us to take a look at their existing systems. In the next 3 months, we're going to have 5 proof of concepts signed for 5 enterprise companies and 30 meetings with prospective clients. So we know that the white tech bros almost always keep the money and the opportunities from AI going into a place like Mexico. But we are determined to revolutionize the way business is done and the way conversational AI is made. And women and Mexicans are at the heart of our company. We'd like to keep the money and the innovation in Mexico, and if you're mission aligned, please join our revolution.
Fantastic. So I know you guys are pretty early. I know it's been a lot of research and conceptualizing over the last couple of years. I think it's really important in those really early stage pitches to talk about the team, and you did that, and also what that next 6 months look like, and also what your vision is, which I think you covered. I think that's important when you don't, when you want to convince people that this is where we're at, this is exactly what we're focused on, this is our big term mission, and these are the people that are going to get us there. So great job doing that.
Thank you.
Are you itching at the bit to? Okay. No, I was going to start over here. Why don't we start with Chris?
No, look, I love the mission at the core, right? And I think that's important. I think, maybe adding some additional statistics in around Mexico, the technology ecosystem. Mm-hmm. I grew up in Detroit, and Detroit gets shitted on a lot, but then when I have to explain Tech Town Detroit, all the things that are coming out of there, it makes it more of a viable ask for someone to do business there, right? Yes, there's opposition in terms of the white tech bros, and that's a great point. I think you know, if you're participating in and empowering this tech and entrepreneurial ecosystem in the city and locally, just kind of like fan that out a little bit and say where you insert yourselves into that conversation.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I think it's brilliant, and it's, you know, it's like obviously one of the largest languages spoken in the world. So
Yes.
it is much needed, and I think you're spot on with everything you've developed so far.
Thank you.
What does your logo mean?
The logo is actually an Aztec. It comes from the Aztec symbols that you find for speech on a lot of the carvings. They viewed speech as something circular.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love that. Melanie, can we go to you next?
Great. Great concept. Love the idea of
Thank you.
Keeping the tech and the workers and the money in Mexico. I just had a sort of a question about the intended clients and like how that's going to work, and what your sort of goals are for like who you're marketing to.
We're vertical agnostic, so we can go into many different verticals. Right now, we're talking to one of the biggest hotel chains in Mexico. We're having client discussions with him, and that would put us in all over Mexico. But there's also a car company that we're talking to, an e-commerce company. We're talking to the largest event planning association as well. So we kind of run the gamut. I think that's one of our strong points as well, because every company needs conversational AI. Is when you have to communicate with your clients, and that's almost every company, you're going to need to have conversational AI to be competitive.
I would go, first of all, I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
I would not make it about the white, the
Tech
the
bros.
white tech bro. I wouldn't make it about the bro. I would make it about bias, and I would use the language about the bias, about the American, and about the Mexico, and, you know, because I think it is the point about bias barriers when we are, and it, of course, it is about the white bro. It is true. I think where the issue is when we are not using the local native conversational and the AI is bias in, is bias out. And where we see the real challenge, especially where we have men in the tech industry, is where it's especially menopause and period and, you know, all these topics, we are not getting the right translation. Number one, in those categories, you know, we're not getting the right translation. And in the Spanish language, when we have Americans doing the translation, we're not getting the right, you know, conversation. And that is really the problem of why we need to, you know, have the right, especially for AI in conversation. And I think that is very important. So I would make sure it's not about the tech bro that is the issue. It is around the importance of, for AI in particular, we need to keep it in the right places so that the AI is, and the algorithms are consistent.
Yes.
And that is very important. So we're not making it about the bro. Like, make sure we use the right language of why it's so important for the algorithms to be appropriate. So I love the concept, but I would refine the pitch so that we're all explaining it correctly.
All right.
And
Yes,
just an
thank
accent
you.
on that, no pun intended. Sorry, it happened. But no, I think just like celebrating the beauty and the culture, like I think there's something in that conversational pitch to just like, we all love Mexican culture, you know, to some extent, and it's beautiful. And I think that should be a part of the conversation when you introduce it as well.
All right. Thank you.
That's great. And Rakia?
So I love everything about this. As someone who works in the world of marketing and communications, this is going to be a great tool moving forward for nuanced storytelling. So I think maybe to Shelley's point, talk about the future and how complex conversations will be. We all know these past 3 years when racism was broadcasted on a larger stage, people took a step back and they started to refine their language. They started to refine the way they were speaking to one another. One, because they didn't want to get called out and canceled, but that's a whole nother story. But I think for you, in this world of where you're going, I think a lot of folks will use terminology like ethical intelligence paired with conversational AI. So I would really play up the future of the world with ethical intelligence as it relates to technology, because more and more businesses are going to be adapting formulas like Grammarly that helps you to spell things, but then there's going to be languaging platforms that help you to explain words. So the conversational AI, especially with what you're doing in Mexico from an ethical standpoint, giving the people their money should be played up. I would not bury that lead and go in with that and then follow it with nuanced storytelling, the complexity of conversations, and why no business in the future will be able to live without your product because of the world of storytelling.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly. And the stereotypical things that go in if you don't understand the culture, you know,
Yes.
that it's about tacos or it's about, you know, you're starting to see all these when it's not, you know, created culturally relevant, you're starting to see stereotypes built in to the conversational AI that is not at all correct.
Yes, and there's also so many different Spanishes, right?
Exactly.
And that nuance is not put in when
That's
someone
what
doesn't
we
speak
need
the
to
language.
make sure is,
That was going to be my next question,
ahead.
actually, was about like if the sort of long-term plan is to bring in, you know, like Cubans or, you know, people like
Yes.
Bolivians and
One of the things that I would like is this is a template, basically, so that there is ethical AI. Whenever it goes into another country, we follow this template where we are empowering the people who are already there to be their own
that is the
makers.
most important thing that you need to make sure is put in there. And instead, I was hearing, bro. No, focus on what matters. That's what I need to hear you talk about.
Okay.
That is story selling.
Selling. And I think it's making the business case, right? That's the pitch that we're always, showcasing here is what is the business case? Like what's that impact and what is going to be that kind of growth trajectory and that vision and that impact?
Even statistically on that, like looking at like how many, you know, Spanish-speaking households have an Alexa or Google Home, like that data should be available somewhere, somehow. Secondly, there's a woman named Eyee, E-Y-E-E, who is like runs the AI development for Google, and she's all about ethical AI, and I think that's somebody you should at least
thank you, yeah.
study up on, if not connect with.
Okay,
I
no,
want to
that'd be
give her a
great.
shout out here too, because she's dope and she's black, and it's like she checks all the boxes. So, yeah, just that should be
Thank
somebody
you.
But by the way, genius idea. The idea is
Thank
genius.
you. Thank you.
And can you just restate, any questions from the audience? Okay, yeah.
I actually just wanted to say I really like what you're doing. I think that where you're going is really cool because there's a lot of bias in the AI space, and it concerns me coming from a tech perspective always. And I'm not as deep into that space, but I do think what you're doing is like amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah.
I just want to mention one thing. There's an organization called Women in AI. I believe it was started in Europe, and I'm a graduate of the first North American accelerator, which is held in 2021. And their applications are now open.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
Women in AI. And there's also Women in Voice, right, Joan?
Yes, Women in Voice is one of our partners.
Yeah, exactly. Fantastic. And if you could just restate your ask, how we can help support Make Intros.
Well, we are, of course, our budget is going to be $750,000 to begin with, but what we're really looking for is people who are interested in the LATAM space and any connections to that, because I think a lot of this is going to be about conversations that we have, people who are really mission aligned with us, and that's really what we're looking for, is kind of a community and a family.
So we need to connect you to Claudia Edelman, right? So let's make that connection for you.
Thank you.
We'd like to talk to you as well for the Masters Fund. We have some connections also into Latin America.
Oh, thank you so much.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much, Alana.
Thanks.
All right. Well, that is all we have for you. Thank you so much to can we give it up to our amazing panel again? These guys, our Dolphins. Thank you to Shelley and FQ. Thank you to Project W for allowing for all of this to happen. Black and Brown Founders and Project W and Springboard will be doing a continued series supporting Black and Latinx founders for the rest of the year. Lynn, did you want to add anything?
No,
Okay. Yeah, stay tuned. You'll all get notified about that, and have a fantastic South by. Yeah. Could I have the 3 founders come up here for a picture? The 3 founders, thank you.
Wow.